It's the year 2022, and technology is without a doubt taking the entire globe by storm. In fact, a technology that helps save people's lives is literally the most insane idea, and for every F1 racer, such a blessing has been the F1 Halo technology. So what is it? Who thought it up? How does it function? And more importantly, how can it prevent deaths to save the lives of those on track? Even though being on track in a racing car and showcasing such incredible moves is no less than a full-fledged Hollywood action scene, things inside the car are not the same as perceived by the public. There's continual pressure, speed, tension, and undoubtedly some extremely excellent chances of an accident happening, but during such times, racers can only think of one thing: Halo. Halo has been saving people's lives on the field since its inception, so if you want to understand more about this wonderful life-saving technology, do be sure to watch this video all the way to the end. As previously said, the track situation for racers isn't always as pleasing and wonderful as it appears from the outside to the audience. During the race, the speed and strain on the drivers are so intense that accidents are something that has become extremely common, and that too not just minor mishaps, but potentially fatal ones. In reality, stories about drivers wrecking their vehicles in the middle of a race frequently make headlines. To give an example from very recently, Chinese F1 driver Zhou Guanyu was almost killed in a crash at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. The incident was fatal, but fortunately, according to reports, the Alfa Romeo driver was rescued and was reported awake and even talking. To everyone's complete surprise, this wasn't the only collision that happened that day. Williams test driver Roy Nissany was also saved from another collision when Dennis Hogger's car flipped over and fell on top of Nissany's. This occurred a few hours before the British Grand Prix during a feature race at Silverstone. All of these occurrences and the skillful way in which the drivers escaped serious mishaps that could have killed them shed light on the little discussed Halo technology. In fact, the drivers who were caught up in the most recent incident were seen utilizing their social media handles to show their appreciation for the Halo technology. Zhou Guanyu posted on Twitter, "I'm well, completely clear, Halo saved me today," which begged worldwide attention and raised the question, what is a Halo? So in a nutshell, the Halo is a driver crash protection system used in open-wheel racing series consisting of a curved bar placed to protect the driver's head. The system consists of a bar that protects the driver's head and is linked to the car frame at 3 locations. The Halo is constructed of titanium and weighs roughly 7 kilos in the 2016 iteration before increasing to 9 kilograms in 2017. Surprisingly, the implementation of the technique resulted in a 17% theoretical increase in the driver survival rate in a survey done by the FIA using data from 40 real events. It functions nearly as a protective barrier, keeping heavy items and debris out of the cockpit of a single-seat racing car. There are even certain strict standards for its construction, and the device is made by 3 approved companies for use by F1 teams. The Halo was first used in F1 in 2018, and it later became required in all other FIA-sanctioned open cockpit classes, including Formula E, F2, F3, and F4. Its main purpose is to increase driver safety by preventing big items from entering the cockpit entirely. The technology gained so much attention that now even other single-seater racing series across the world also utilize it, including the Australian S5000 series, the Japanese Super Formula series, and the US IndyCar series. In fact, before its debut in the thrilling yet perilous world of Formula 1, the organizational body, the FIA, had conducted research and considered numerous ideas and alternatives of technologies that could just somehow help save drivers' lives on track. Finally, Halo was selected. It was also found that it could endure the pressure caused by a massive 12-ton weight despite being around 7 kilograms and being composed of shaped titanium. This makes the Halo the most powerful component of a Formula racing car, rivaling the likes of a London double-decker bus. During its development, the FIA looked at 3 basic scenarios: collisions between 2 vehicles, interaction between a vehicle and its surroundings, such as barriers, and collisions with other vehicles and debris. Tests have demonstrated that the Halo system can greatly minimize the driver's risk of injury. When compared to a series of previous mishaps, the technology was able to prevent the skull from coming into contact with a barrier in many circumstances. Even though what Halo can do was fairly well explained, people, especially those directly involved in Formula 1, didn't pay it much positive attention. As a result, the transparent era screen was created by Red Bull Advanced Technologies as an alternative to the Halo system. The FIA showed little interest in the design, which resembled a little fairing. The first and only driver to test Shield in a Formula 1 vehicle was Sebastian Vettel. He ran a lap using the new system during free practice for the 2017 British Grand Prix before ending the test early. He stated that his distorted and blurry vision made it impossible for him to drive. Since there was no assurance that the problems with Shield could be resolved in time for the 2018 season, its implementation was subsequently abandoned. However, issues didn't stop there to pave a smoother way for Halo, as drivers themselves weren't clear about what Halo was. Max Verstappen was even cited as saying, "There needs to be a certain element of risk in a 2017 Guardian piece. You can make the car better, but we don't need this extra component." Simply said, I don't think Halo or any such devices are important. After two incidents in which the Halo was struck by other cars, one in the Belgian Grand Prix when Charles Leclerc's Halo was struck by Fernando Alonso's flying McLaren, and one in the Formula 2 race in Spain when Tadasuke Makino's Halo was landed on by fellow Japanese driver Nerei Fukuzumi's car, the Halo received praise from the community despite initial criticism. Both Makino and Leclerc gave the Halo credit for potentially saving their lives, and Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff even remarked that rescuing Leclerc from injury made the Halo worth it despite its quote awful aesthetics early in the season. Now, it's literally been 5 years since its launch, and Halo every day has been saving the lives of drivers even from the most brutal of accidents. One of the biggest achievements in Formula 1's ongoing effort to increase safety after the tragic death of Ayrton Senna in 1994 is definitely the Halo head protection system. Definitely not something to argue, but despite a rough beginning when it was first introduced, many incidents have been avoided thanks to the Halo. Some individuals criticized the Halo's appearance, stating it ruined the purity of a single-seat open cockpit racing car. Others said that the Halo can be in the way if a driver wants to exit the vehicle quickly. However, in fact, this is shown to be unimportant, and the lives that it has saved has put an end to any criticisms based on appearance. Since then, there have been at least 8 further cases in which it appears to have saved a driver's life, most notably Romain Grosjean's escape from being beheaded in Bahrain in 2020 when his Haas punctured a barrier after his fiery incident. In fact, without a Halo, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen's collision at Monza would have been catastrophic, as Verstappen's car would have mounted Hamilton's into the cockpit. This is also true of Romain Grosjean's devastating Abu Dhabi crash, in which his car tore in half and caught fire in the barriers. Ultimately, in the end, Formula 1 is an extremely risky sport, and this statement isn't that wrong to argue about. Drivers put their lives in peril every time they enter the racetrack, and therefore, it's wonderful to see such breakthroughs in safety like a Halo succeeding, and long may they continue, especially after watching the terrifying events at Silverstone. It's safe to say that everyone is happy that earlier the developers listened to their instincts and installed Halo in the cars. What a remarkable invention and feat of engineering it's been that already saved countless lives and made the sport that we all adore safer for those who participate. Well, that finishes our video for today, everyone. Thanks for staying with us till the end, and we sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Do be sure to press the subscribe button before you leave, and also leave a like if you haven't already. We'll see you guys next time, but until then, everyone stay safe.